everybody, it's the MTech team here, helping you find a bit of a hack in order to close a Microsoft Teams meeting with your students so that they can't video chat or text chat with each other in this. Now, this is just a temporary fix until we get the update, which will let us close links, but we're going to show you how to be able to do this. Please note, it does not prevent students from creating their own video or chats privately. This just helps the solution of teachers who have generated a link, put it inside their Google Classroom, and they'd like students to not chat or video outside the class meeting time. So we're going to start by going to our Outlook calendar and creating the meeting link like we always do. So as usual, I'm going to go ahead and just pick a day that I'm going to be creating a link. I'm going to go ahead and make a new event. I'm going to add the title. I'm just going to call it that for now because I know that it's not real. What's important here is we're going to be inviting a colleague. You're going to see that when we try to remove students from the room, we always have to leave two people in the room. So you're going to invite a colleague that is not necessarily even going to join your class team meeting. It's just somebody who can ignore everything. And you're going to definitely want to make sure they have notifications turned off. So I'm going to go ahead and invite my friend Sean. I'm going to make sure I turn on Teams meeting. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send this to myself and Sean. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to open up that meeting and I'm going to want to be able to go to my meeting options. When I click the meeting options, it's going to go ahead and give me choices of what I can do for participants and lobby. What the lobby means is who can enter the video meeting with or without your permission. The default is that anybody who's signed in with their ECSD account can enter the lobby. What I actually want to do is I'm going to say only I can enter the lobby without having to admit someone. Who can present? I'm going to leave that to only me. I can set up presenters later on in the class meeting if I want students to share their screens. This is a new feature, allow attendees to unmute. I'm going to leave that on and I'll show you where we can make sure students stay muted in a meeting while we're in it. I'm going to go ahead and save these options. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy this link address. I'm going to put it inside of my Google Classroom. I'll attach the link as usual. Of course, I can include a schedule of when I'm meeting with my students. I'm going to use this same link over and over and over again throughout the quarter. Now that I'm ready to meet with my students, I will have invited all of my students to click and join this meeting. I'm going to do the same. You can choose to do this in Teams on the web. I'm going to go ahead and open it in my desktop version for full functionality because I've also done the most recent update. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be able to set this up and start my meeting. So I'm going to be entering my meeting right here, and I'm going to say join now. One of the things you're going to notice is that I'm only one in the room, but I can see that my students are waiting in the lobby. I can wait until all my students join at that correct time. I'm going to go ahead and say view the lobby. And now I can see any of my students waiting for me. Now, what's great about this is my other that was invited, my colleague, he's not going to join me today. He knows that I'm just having a class meeting. He can ignore these calls. Right here, here's all my students. I can admit them individually, or I can click this lovely button that says admit all. Hi students, our MTech team. Now what's going to happen is we have our traditional chat where students can go ahead, they can ask their questions in the chat, we can have our teaching discussion, I can share my screen as usual. What I can also do is I can go to my lovely participant list here and I can see all of my participants here. One of the things that I can do is I can make sure under participants, if I click the three dots, I can say don't allow attendees to unmute. That will mean that students will actually have to raise their hand and then I unmute them individually so that they can use their microphones. When the meeting is completely done, we're all done, everybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to not just leave it myself, I'm actually going to use the end meeting button. What this does is it closes the video meeting for everybody right now. Now that I've done that, it's going to return me to my regular chat. Here was the closed class meeting we just did. In order to make sure that students can't rejoin the link and they can't continue to chat in here, I need to go to my participants in the top right-hand corner, and I'm actually going to remove all of the students. And unfortunately, I do have to do this one at a time, but it's worth it if you really don't want to have that chat continue. You don't want kids using the video outside of hours. Now it's just myself and my colleague in here. You always have to leave two people in a chat. What will happen is when my students try to click that link again, they're simply going to be retained in a lobby. They will not be able to chat in this chat. It will tell them they don't have permission, and they won't be able to enter the video room. So when it's time for us to meet again, they simply click the link back in our Google Classroom, and you're going to see how they'll be able to join once I let them in the lobby. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Google Classroom. I'm going to click the link. I'm going to be starting this link again, and so will my students. So I'm back where I started. Join now. And right away, I'm going to see any students that need to join the class because we have a scheduled time. They will be able to now click that and join, and I'll have to let them in. So I can see my students in the lobby, and now we can use this link again. So we can keep that same link inside of Google Classroom because now we've removed it. And so you just do that again. You have your meeting, then you have to go back to the chat, remove all the participants until the next time you meet and you allow them in the lobby. So that's our MTech Microsoft Teams hack. If you're already using Teams and it's working for you where you have that open link, kids can chat with you, kids can video anytime they need, you're having no problems, great. Keep doing that way. Congratulations. This is just for those teachers who really need to close these spaces. Keeping in mind, how are students going to communicate to you when they have questions, when they need help? If they can't do it here in Teams, are you doing it in the class comments of Google Classroom? What is that mechanism? So if you ever need any help, please let us know, and good luck with everything.